Hernando County teacher under investigation after showing students a Disney film. So Hernando County is in Florida, and we know what's going on in Florida. Essentially, the extremely metrosexual Ron DeSantis is trying to erase any sort of LGBTQ plus identity across the state through the introduction of things such as the Don't Say Gay bill and others. Now, he has also been at war with Disney, who we know is very LGBT friendly. And I believe that this coincides directly with that. Let's read a little bit from the article. It's from News Channel 8, which I am assuming is based out of Florida. This was written by Annie Mapp. The Hernando County School District's Department of Professional Standards is investigating a 5th grade teacher who showed the Disney movie Strange World in class. Jenna Barbee teaches at Winding Waters, kindergarten through 8th, and says she originally thought the movie was appropriate for students to watch since it is rated PG. Despite the rating, school district policy states that all movies must first get approval from school leadership before they can be viewed by students. You know, I was born in '89, so I was in school in the 90s and early through mid 2000s. We never even considered things like this. This was never an issue. We even watched Schindler's List. Now, I was in high school, of course, but I'm sure that something like that wouldn't fly in today's current age, where essentially politicians, especially Ron DeSantis and his war on wokeness, which is apparently anything besides straight, male, and Christian. And we know, us adults at least, anyone with a brain in their head knows that there are other people in this world besides straight, white, Christian males. Ron DeSantis is attempting to hide, and really what the end game is attempt to destroy any sort of LGBT culture in Florida and spread that attitude through the entire United States. So, continuing with this article, I was showing a movie to my students about Earth because that's our current lessons in science, Barbee said. Disney's description of the film states that it's a movie about a family of explorers trying to save their world from a strange power outage. The film features a gay teenager, which is what sparked concern for a parent and Hernando County School Board member Shannon Rodriguez. So obviously this is a witch hunt that's being fueled by one bigoted parent and one bigoted school board member named Shannon Rodriguez. This teacher did absolutely nothing wrong. This is just insane. It's absolutely insane what's going on in this year of our Lord 2023. I can't believe that students, teachers, and everyone else for that matter are being crucified simply for expressing themselves and just saying, hey, I'm gay, or hey, I'm trans, or bi, or pan, or whatever they are. At the end of the day, it just doesn't matter. What is the big deal here? I've talked about in the past, there is a lot of scientific literature to back up the fact that the people that are the most hateful of the LGBT community are themselves self-hating and, most importantly, closeted. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and look that up right now since we're on that topic. Because whenever you see stories like this, whenever you see people and politicians that are doing their very best to hurt those of us in the LGBT community, and those of you out there with any sort of alternative identity, well, not even alternative, just that identity in of itself, I need you to realize that these people hate themselves. They hate themselves because they themselves are not straight, and there is a very toxic culture that has been going on in our country really since its founding, which is basically, if you're not a straight, white, cisgender, Christian male, then essentially you're garbage, right? I mean, that is what we're taught from a very young age. And this is from the Scientific American. So, like I said, remember, when you come across these bullies, which is essentially what they are, these hateful pricks that add nothing to our society. If anything, they are extremely harmful and degrade our society, and they degrade America in general. You need to realize that they themselves are just self-hating, and they're gay themselves. They just don't want to admit it because they have been raised to hate the LGBT community and hate everything about it. But since you can't control your sexuality, they hate themselves, so they want everyone else to suffer and be miserable. And they want to pass any sort of laws and bills to just harass people and also prevent gender-affirming care, all that great stuff that they're up to in Florida and many, many other red states. So a new analysis of implicit bias and explicit sexual orientation statements may help to explain the underpinnings of anti-gay bullying and hate crimes. Homophobes should consider a little self-reflection, suggests a new study finding those individuals who are the most hostile towards gays and hold strong anti-gay views may themselves have same-sex desires, albeit undercover ones. The prejudice of homophobia may also stem from authoritarian parents, particularly those with homophobic views as well, the researchers added. And that's exactly what I was saying before we even started reading the article. This stuff is pretty basic. Once you have a good understanding of human nature, and once you've been around the block like I have, you know that it's a little sus, right? It's a little sus when there's that one guy at a party or at a bar that's like, I hate faggots, I can't stand them, these queens and queers, and they're so sexy. I mean, I hate them, I can't stand them. It's very suspect when you run into people like that. The most masculine and awesome men that I've ever known in my life are just who they are. They're into what they're into, and they don't bother anybody else. That is the real red-blooded American male, okay? These homophobes, these transphobes, they're pussies. They're just very insecure, and it's not manly whatsoever. It's not attractive to women either. It's definitely not attractive to Gen Z, the younger generation of people. This stuff is cringe to them. It's absolutely cringe. When someone at a party says that they don't like gay people, they don't like LGBT, that is the most cringe you can say. And I'm seeing the tide change online because you go to different forums, you go on 4chan, Reddit, all these different places, and you see people making these anti-gay, anti-LGBT posts, and there's just a big negative reaction to that, and people just make fun of them. It is so cringe, it is so pussified to be homophobic and transphobic. They're not doing anything to you. The only reason that you have a problem with them is because you yourself have something wrong with you. You hate yourself for your sexuality, and you can't control your sexuality, so it's just a vicious cycle. You hate yourself, so you hate others. And these people that are in power, like Ron DeSantis, they absolutely hate themselves. And Ron DeSantis, I would bet all the money in my checking account that Ron DeSantis has had some same-sex flings, or at the very least has fantasized about it. And the guy obviously hates himself because he's spending his time just harassing the general public instead of governing like he's supposed to do, making Florida a better state. Those are the things that he should be focusing on instead of just harassing people, literally just harassing people and making their life difficult because they identify as LGBTQ+. How pathetic and how anti-masculine is that? I mean, seriously, think about it. Hopefully you agree. I mean, I just pointed out like 10 different reasons why all these different kinds of people like Ron DeSantis are just dirtbags and they're just a waste of oxygen.